shoot, I said that you claim it. It's that Xbox, spin the block, his legs slide. Fast talker, no riddling, moonwalking, selling moon rock just to make dividends. You in traffic with family? That much make it a portrait. Gun kick back, not grannies from porches. David on the scene, you know that it's scorching. What's the man with king? No response to the saying, advancing the line, advancing the payment. You front the game and shoot, what said that you claim?
You already know the time, told my boys to hold the line. We gon' shoot it out in seconds, leave you posted like a vine. Bow your head down to the king, leave your roses at the shrine. We stay ready for the war, just need the king to drop the sign. Say what you running from, what you running from? I'm with my team, we bleed green, that's what you wanted, huh? Say what you running from, what you running from? I'm with my team, we bleed green, that's what you wanted, huh? This what you wanted. This what you wanted, huh?
Peace and blessings, and welcome back to Xbox Frontline News with your boy, the King. Now, if you was Apollo Dingo, you say something stupid like, PC Frontline. The hell with you. Ain't happening. Inside joke. For anybody that mess with me and understands, I have a thorn on my side. Pause. His name is Dingo. Hey, yo. That's him. I'm just saying. We got a lot of stuff to talk about today. I don't like the fan base of the PlayStation dudes. Y'all not ride or die when it comes to PlayStation. Y'all dudes are weirdos, bro. But if anybody got a chance to check me out, I'm twitching now, bro. Right? So if you want to see me streaming on Twitch, that's King David ILP on Twitch. Check me out. I'm gonna have some probably have some footage in here, other stuff. But yeah, we got a lot of stuff to talk about because you dudes are weirdos, and I gotta break it down for you weirdos because I'm 98% right all the time. Hashtag no PlayStation 6. We're gonna run it up on them bums. And I know you're saying, King, how you gonna talk about no PlayStation 6? I did. I'm standing on it. And we'll see, right? Maybe you right, maybe I'm wrong. But we can talk about that information that came out today. Shout out to Space Marines too. Being the biggest Warhammer 4K game, 40K game to launch on Xbox. It's seeing more players on it first day than any other 40K game in their first weeks. This is incredible news. This letting you know there's a demand for high testosterone games that pushes the envelope without none of that DEI crap inside of it. Selling over 2 million copies in its first 2 days. This is what we need to hear. This is what I'm talking about. Real Games is back. And I'm loving every minute of it. You can watch me on my Twitch stream playing this game in all its glory, having fun. That's King David ILP on Twitch. Check out me playing what can be considered as one of the brightest spots this year in gaming. Space Marines 2. Now, you catching me streaming that joint, having fun playing it. Was up there playing it today or whatever, streaming it and everything. Everybody got a chance to check it out. You know, if you want to check me out on Twitch, go check it out. Your King David OTW at ILP. You know, that's a thing. It's happening. That's a thing. And it's moving and it's shaking and we moving outside. That's what's up. But I like the game. Dudes was mad at me because I said it took the Gears formula and innovated on it, to my opinion, and made it such a different entity other than a Gears clone where it stands on its own too. And you could take out the DEI stuff out of Gears. You know, I'm gonna be real with you. The first trilogy was dope. Gears 4 and 5, technically visually pleasing. The DEI stuff, you could have missed me with all of that. And I'm just cool on all of that stuff, right? But this game here took what they did good, what the first trilogy of Gears did well, very good, and expounded on it. And it gives it a sense of vastness, a sense of war, a sense of all-out brutality, what war would be. A Space Marine is a combination of humanity's essence and the technology when you merge the two. So I'm in the early exploits of the game right now. But what I did love so far is the parry system that's inside the game. I'm not a parrier, at heart. I leave that up to Sovereign to do that. But me personally, I do love the brutality and the visceralness that the game does have. So you can follow me during my campaign, with the game, which is probably one of my bright spots in 2024, along with Black Myth Wukong that I'm playing on Steam, and my little guy, Astrobot. So, if you have fun, watching, streams or whatever, come check me out. I'm over there, doing that. Bethesda introduces its new isolated handcrafted world in new Starfield Shattered Space Deep Dive. This, I can't wait to talk about. Starfield Shattered Space is out in about 2 weeks, and it's going to be something great for Starfield players. Bethesda has been eagerly anticipating the drop of this DLC. So we got 10 minutes worth of Starfield information. That's more than the 9 minutes Mark Cerny did and came out and shattered the space between the brains, between the ears of all PlayStation fan bases. This is a major expansion. Shattered Space players will visit the home world of House of Varian for the first time, explore the fully handcrafted new location, unravel the mysteries surrounding the followers of the Great Serpent. The House Varon is on the brink of collapse, and their people need to help find the pathway forward. When your sudden presence on their hidden home planet is seen as some part of divine intervention, it's up to you to restore the House Varian and decide the fate of the secretive faction. Shattered Space launches September 30th for the Xbox Series X and PC. Owners of the premium Constellation editions of Starfield will receive Shattered Space as part of their original purchase. Owners of the base edition can still purchase the premium upgrade for access to Shattered Space, plus other digital items, including the digital art book, original soundtrack, and 1,000 creation credits, and the Constellation skin pack. Go get it. Go check it out. So here we go again. Another port begging expose from individuals all across the globe. Starfield comes out with some information on Shattered Space. The begging and delusion of the port begging Sony fan base is absolutely disgusting. I don't hear them talking about Ghost of Tsushima or talking about Spider-Man, the next Spider-Man, or the Venom game that was rumored to be coming out this year. I don't hear them asking Sony for anything. All I hear is, when is the next Microsoft games coming over? Like, I thought you worried about PlayStation stuff. I really did. And it's becoming more apparent that these pony bots are triple changes in disguise. They masquerade today as humans. Online, they act like they're PlayStation fans. But in secret, they transform into an Xbot and secretly crave and love Xbox games as they lay down with a bed full of Xbox controllers, rolling around, playing with them. Pause. I could go deeper into that, but I won't. And again, pause. Anyway, Shattered Space DLC, they had a deep dive today. And House Varoon, a handcrafted DLC isolated planet. And that's to be said because, they usually do procedurally generated stuff, right? And the fact of the matter now, it's not procedurally generated, it's handcrafted, this particular DLC. And you're still able to go get that. If you get the Constellation Edition, if you get the upgrade to that, you're able to, still get the DLC. I think it's something like $30. And, it's an easy score. Go do that before the game comes out. And you get all that bonus content and everything. And you get the extra credits, the crafting credits. And that's a dope aspect to the game. But seeing all the stuff that they have added to the game, where now you can use vehicles, it fleshes out what Todd Howard's vision actually was. Now, I know early on, 30 frames per second seemed like an impossible trek, and Todd Howard said that the artistic vision was like 30 frames per second. I mean, let's be real. You do what you can with what you can until you're able to do better. And I guess in the beginning, what was most important to them was getting to a stable frame rate of 30 frames per second, and then expounding off of that later with patches and stuff, which they've done. So if you go to Starfield now, you can do 60 frames per second and 120 frames, I think, as well. You have VRR enabled, all these wonderful bells and whistles, all this conversation that we had in the beginning about what this tech was able to do. And now we're seeing the tech utilizing that stuff in full effect. So the 30th would be a great day for Starfield fans. Now, unlike most, I'm an absolute fraud. Right? I get in, I play Starfield, and my attention span in the game is probably a 0.2, because I'm too busy doing stuff like stealing ships and acting crazy that I forget whatever mission that I do, and I'd be like, let me go do this. I have a little gripes and problems with Starfield. I think that it can be overwhelming at times when it comes to the menu options and stuff, and trying to navigate in that and getting to your objectives. But overall, the game has grown leaps and bounds from its initial release. And that's the only thing that you can ask and hope for when it comes to your games of choice, especially this game that's going to be on along for years. Now, we understand the genesis of this game, and this game was slated to be a multi-platform game. Microsoft came in, brought them, locked it off over to the Xbox platform. And I lose no sleep over Starfield going anywhere, right? I lose no sleep. Because honestly, I'm a consumer, and I'm going to consume where I want to consume my games. And I want to consume my games on the Xbox platform. So, as of today, Starfield isn't on PlayStation. And what I would tell you PlayStation dudes, instead of port begging and waiting for Starfield and hoping and praying that, somebody piss on you and tell you it's raining, go out and buy Astrobot. You have a really good game that's in the wild, that is underperforming, that isn't hitting its marks, where you have Space Marines 2 selling 2 million copies in 2 days. We don't know what is your delivery system, how many games you sold, and what is actually transpiring. But we do want Astrobot to do well. So we already know Starfield has reached its projections, and it's continuing to go on. And Shattered Space will again bring more people back to the galaxy and the world of Starfield. Shout out to Todd Howard with being flexible in his delivery system with Starfield, and the team handling Shattered Space to doing a handcrafted world that shows your attention and care to delivering that product. And September 30th, I can't wait to jump into the world of Starfield again and check out all the new stuff, from 60 frames per second to the new vehicles to the new expansion on the DLC, and to actually go into House Varun and see what's going on with the secret society, what they believe in, what tech they have, and actually what ships I can steal. So I'll probably be streaming that game on my Twitch channel, King David ILP at Twitch. Go check me out. Follow me over there. If you're interested in it, and you might not want to go out and purchase right now, or you purchased the regular game, or you just new to Game Pass, and you just want to see how the game plays and what the game is about, come check me out over there, where I most definitely will be streaming this game. PlayStation 5 Pro. The most powerful console? Maybe, but it's the most powerful PlayStation console that's coming to the market November 17th. Now, they have a big GPU, faster ray tracing, AI-powered upscaling. This stuff here is based off of the fact that the PlayStation 5 has RDNA 2-based graphics, 36 compute units, 16 gigabytes of 14 gigabytes per second of GDDR6. The Pro, in comparison, has 60 compute units, hopefully RDNA 3 based. We're hearing 4, which is most likely cap, and 18 gigabytes of GDDR6. Now, exact clock speeds hasn't been pegged down. Let's see. The problem with what's going on is no one has gotten their hands on this machine except for CNET. Now, the Pro Zen 2, unconfirmed, cores, unconfirmed, RDNA 3, unconfirmed. The only thing that's been confirmed, definitely, is the price tag. Now, we hope that the rumors that we've heard is not true, but we're going to talk about that today. Is the PlayStation 5 Pro the most powerful hardware on the market, console hardware? I don't believe so. I believe that's why Mark Cerny said the most powerful PlayStation console. Because, you know, you have stuff like the Steam Deck coming out, you have the ROG, you have other things that are considered console, right? And then you don't know what the Switch is going to do. What if the Switch bops out and amazes you, right? But then the Xbox will be having a short turnaround, right? Does Xbox push their timeline up after having the information? Well, they've always had the information on Sony's PlayStation, whatever it's going to be called, next console, right? Do you push the timeline up? Do you drop in 2025 instead of 2026? Do you capitalize on what this generation can bring you? Especially when you ambiguous to what it is that you can actually do, right? So as far as console, handheld, they're erogenous in that sense where they can actually be anything, right? So that's the flexibility that Xbox has bestowed on, well, Microsoft has bestowed on Xbox. And what can be seen as nothing but further evidence that Microsoft and Xbox has begun including handhelds in their promotional images. You know, so when they push stuff up, you get a chance to see the PC, the Xbox PC app for existing handhelds. Now, this week, The Verge, Tom Warren even spotted one of those included in the artwork company of Xbox new friend request feature, which is believed to mark the first time a handheld has ever appeared in one of these. Xbox senior social media manager Stein retweeted the post a couple of days ago. And my man Tom Warren here is just letting you know what's going on here. As Warren mentioned, this clearly showed the importance of devices like the Asus ROG Ally and Levision Go becoming, a team to Xbox. And it's interesting in how the Xbox Series X and S isn't actually represented in the visual from here, aside from the big picture on the main TV. We wouldn't read too much into that, though. Well, what they're trying to show you is, besides the console, this is other ways for you to partake in the ecosystem. And I think this right here stimulates the mind in knowing that the handheld is an extension of your console. And if it's not just the console itself, a bridge to further and beyond going forward. I think gaming itself will show itself to be a little bit more dynamic than our little minds have anticipated. The proof is in the pudding. The writing is on the wall. Whatever silly little quotes that you want to bring up that can make any sense to you, Xbox is leading heavily towards the handheld market. They admire the Steam Deck. They truly admire the Asus ROG Ally, the Levision Go. They kind of cool with that, and the G Cloud. They're into those things. Handhelds, it's the portable device that is flexible enough to be docked at your TV and give you the flexibility to do whatever you want, play wherever you want, play inside the house, tethered to a wall, on a beach, at a mall. To do everything, you can do it all. All you need is that handheld, and you can ball, right? That stuff there, game on. Xbox will be dropping a handheld. How does that handheld shake out? We'll see. What does it have in the box? We'll see. What's the price point? We'll see. All that stuff is up in the air. But I do truly expect Xbox to fundamentally be looking at a hardware solution that can bridge the gap between home and console the same way the Switch did. And what I can only assume is a PlayStation fanboy's writing of an article based on absolute zero knowledge of what's going on. Grand Theft Auto 6 is by far the biggest reason to buy a PlayStation 5 Pro. You got to love this. This is crazy. And stuff that is announced, like it's not even put here that Grand Theft Auto has been stated to be delayed. He overlooks that part or that rumor and goes on rumor, conjecture, and speculation on other parts. So the game is slated to come out in 2025. And he says our outlook reflects the narrowing of Rockstar's previous established window of calendar of 2025 to 2025 Grand Theft Auto. We highly confident that the Rockstar game will deliver an unparalleled experience, blah, blah, blah. And they're talking about, what it made, what's made up of this right here. But in specific regards to the PlayStation 5 console, he thinks that this game here is a big need for that hardware. As such, gamers will need the most powerful hardware to optimize the experience when it comes to smoothness and definition. With Red Dead Redemption 2 on Xbox One X delivered that with a clear advantage in both rendering, resolution, frame rate stability over the less powerful PlayStation Pro. Now, this is so much fun. With the PC version unlikely materializing next year, it turns out, if it's true, the $700 Pro. Wait, he said, even if it turns out to be true, the $700 Pro cannot deliver 60 frames per second. It most likely will be offered in performance mode around 40 to to 45 frames per second that takes advantage of the variable refresh rate technology to offer a far smoother experience than 30 frames per second. Without stating that the Xbox offers, the Series X offers VRR as well out of the box. But I digress. The PlayStation 5 Pro remains a niche console with its high price tag, but the niche will spend what Sony is asking to get the best experience possible for top games, starting with Grand Theft Auto 6. Now, this is crazy. Sony's aware of this and will likely push to make Grand Theft Auto 6, he said Grand Theft Auto 5, a PlayStation Pro bundle when the game finally launches next fall. So he meant 6, but I'm gonna tell you, I love this stuff. God bless. I'm gonna rip this a new one. All right, so dudes, y'all out here with the PlayStation 5 and talking about Pro and the Grand Theft Auto 6, and it's the best way to play Grand Theft Auto and all this other stuff. Yo, there's a possibility that Grand Theft Auto comes out and it's not 60 frames per second and it's stuck at 30 frames per second, on this generation. And on the next generation, you're able to get up to 60 frames per second. Who will be the first ones there? Xbox. Where would the best place to play Grand Theft Auto be? On Xbox. So the thought process that goes into the conversations of them having the marketing rights and all this other stuff. We're living in a time where greatness is an assumption. There's an assumption that you will be great. You will do certain things. The assumption that we're having now is that because what Sony has done in the past, that will continue to permeate the future. And I truly don't believe that to be true. I actually believe that the Xbox has such a larger shot at Grand Theft Auto marketing rights. I think that would be something that they will flex on in order to promote their new console. And especially if Grand Theft Auto is delayed to 2026, like I assume. And what I expressed is no turning back. That PlayStation 5 Pro has definitely killed their market when it comes to expectations of a lower price tag. The PlayStation 6 is priced at $700 like the PlayStation 5 Pro. It's looking more likely. Shout out to Paul Tassi. I understood that this price tag here was a detriment for many reasons, but I also understood that would happen as I predicted it a year and a half ago. And also the actual true price of the PlayStation 5 Pro, which is $799, which is, the Euro price. This concerns with the PlayStation 5 Pro launching at $700 that the PlayStation 6 comes around. Even the base model could in fact launch at $700 too. He does not necessarily think that concern is unfounded. Because if you look at what he presents here, and I suggest you go check out the article from Paul Tassi, at Forbes. We're going to talk about it because I think it's something serious to get into. But in 2029, is that really a thing? Shout out to Paul Tassi. I believe that you're onto something. I mean, I've said this too. I think Sony has opened Pandora's box with the pricing of the PlayStation 5 Pro. And I don't think that you can release a PlayStation 6 or whatever its successor is to PlayStation 5 and the Pro at a lower price point than you initially launched the Pro. I believe that you've tested the waters. You've proved that by making whatever sales that you do make, you will foster, you have groomed your fan base. You've groomed your fan base to accepting, acknowledging, and understanding that you have a premium product. And if they want to partake in that premium product, they must forego any ambitions on dropping lower, price tag. You guys dropping a lower price tag for them to have an easier entry. I think that entry will be locked in at $699 from now on, because you guys have tasted blood, and I think that you go right back to the table for more blood. Shout out to Sony for destroying the fan base from the inside out. I'm just saying, that's how it always happens. And what can only be a huge sigh of relief between the PlayStation fan base and hanger-ons, Intel reportedly lost a PlayStation 6 deal worth $30 billion to AMD, with Sony eyeing next generation's backwards compatibility. Now, records report that Reuters report that in 2022, Intel lost a contract to provide chips for the PlayStation 6 to AMD. Intel reportedly internally valued the contract would have been seen at a lower profit margins than some chip deals, but importantly, would have secured a steady sales for the company at roughly $30 billion. Now, I knew this information, I expressed this information before, but we'll talk about it later. It's unclear how the figure was calculated, but just as the PlayStation 4 outsold the PlayStation 3, PlayStation sales figures has trended ahead of the PlayStation 4, both in general and in many regions at several points. For total sales, PlayStation 5 is roughly 26 million units ahead of the PlayStation 4, but that's largely due to the relatively newness as well as the launch slow by supply caused by the pandemic. I beg to differ. I would tell something totally different. But again, one key point in the Intel Sony discussions was the backwards compatibility. And that's a huge thing. Reuters reports, though it seemingly wasn't that detailed that buried the deal. Rather, Intel apparently wanted a larger chunk of the chip sold, leading to a dispute with Sony and leaving the door open for a more competitive bid from AMD. Now, what they're saying is the PlayStation 5 also uses the AMD chipset, as does the Xbox Series X, which would mean sticking to AMD for the PlayStation 6 will simplify the process, enabling back compat. This was key in the selling point for the PlayStation 5, which supports the vast majority of the PlayStation 4. So, we're going to get into all of this. And it's really sad in seeing you guys can't enjoy a second of the PlayStation 5 Pro before this stupidness rears its ugly head. Realizing that Intel, I knew this a while ago that they lost a bid, and I tried to tell people before that AMD had won the bid and AMD will be working on the chipsets, and they weren't ready with what they wanted to do. Production hasn't started, all this other stuff. I was trying to tell people, but they also gave a prediction date of 2029, right, with the PlayStation 6, and I laughed to myself because that's where hashtag no PlayStation 6 came from. Dudes think I make that stuff in a vacuum, like I'm an emotional individual that can't logically look and discern information and decipher what trajectory in which money can go, or to look at the evidence and can't predict exactly with a little bit of certainty what can transpire. I looked at the evidence of Intel losing the bid, and they lost the bid off of them wanting more from the pot, from the chips being sold, the chips in the box, right? That kind of doomed them. Now, the sigh of relief for you guys is, had Intel got that bid, then that means there's a huge change and a huge disadvantage when it comes to the Xbox platform. Xbox will be back compat with everything. And the reason why Sarah Bond could come out and say we have future-proofed the console, our console, by not going with Intel and going with AMD. Those things is presented across the boards. So the reason why we're hearing about this now, then such negative press is centered around the PlayStation 5 Pro that talking about the 6 will take their minds off of it. And I'm like, damn, the Pro didn't even have a second in order to breathe before y'all decided that y'all wanted to kick his chest in. I feel that's wrong. We live in a time when people are dying for information because information is actually paying their light bill. Instead of living in what games is, whatever the moment is, and truly being blessed to be in this age where you can see the clear difference from a toy product, kids, to an actual product that is centered around adults and an ecosystem that is fostering change. It's such a sad thing to see with this the PlayStation 5 Pro. I didn't even get it in my house yet and do an unboxing, guys, before y'all are begging for the 6. Or the 6 is taking the shine off of the Pro. Hashtag no PlayStation 6. You know how we do. We're going to run it up on them bumps. I'm going to keep the boot on Kong's neck this whole generation. Y'all dudes making it too easy for me. And it sucks. I really think that y'all should really work better, work harder, do more. And what can only be the most scariest moment for any PlayStation fanboy warrior, Alan Wake 2, PlayStation 5 Pro info due in the next coming weeks, because it runs at an internal resolution of 840p at 60 frames per second. The PlayStation 5 Pro details will be shared in the coming weeks following reports online that the survival horror game runs at 840p. I haven't heard numbers that low since the Switch decided to buck up. Details from Digital Foundry Exact Direct Weekly 180 posted online over the weekend, which detailed the performance of a number of games running at the PlayStation 5 Pro. Among them was Alan Wake, which caused a ton of backlash. However, it's worth noting that the 840p is just the internal resolution, not the final output resolution, following the pisser has weaved its magic wand and upscales to 4K. This is crazy. Pua said I had to check reset error during the weekend. Laugh out loud. Remedy's games and resolution discussion pops up every once in a while. Image quality matters more than resolution. Not that I'm confirming anything. We'll drop some details on the PlayStation 5 Pro version of Alan Wake 2 in the coming weeks with some assets too. I think the version will be a pleasant surprise, but hard to tell these days. It's going to be a bloodbath. More negative news for the PlayStation 5 Pro. Now, in hearing Remedy's game, Alan Wake 2, resolution is at 840 to output 60 frames per second, will make you go, oh my God, help, $700 and it ain't even out and it's disgusting. No, I think y'all want too much from the Pro. I think y'all don't understand what the Pro is. The Pro is a machine that is going to take the PlayStation 5 base, drop the resolution down, use the upscaler technology that's in the box to output at a higher resolution without you recognizing what's happening. It's a sleight of hand, a trickery, if you will, something to diffuse the conversation about games not performing to whatever the spec is. And a GPU robust enough to handle some of the graphical upgrades that is necessary in today's demanding games. The PlayStation 5 Pro gives you faster memory, allowing the games to be texture-wise loaded in quicker. But does that translate to better frame rates or higher frame rates on titles that didn't see that before? That is not mandatory. That is not a pro feature to developers developing for the Pro. So, yeah, you have a bunch of old boosted games. And yeah, Sony is just finally catching up to the revolution, which is digital and bringing you a balanced console. If anybody knows my rhetoric on the PlayStation 5, it's an unbalanced, unstable console. Overheating. They remove heat sinks. There's so many revisions to this console, it's scary. If you ever actually look backwards and see from the Big Bertha console, there was another Big Bertha console that came out in the SKU number that they changed and pulled out some heat sinks. And then they come out with the Slim, and then you have the Slim with no disk drive. And it gets confusing at points. And then you got the Pro. So you got to know what you're getting, what it's about. And they don't have the power of this. Like, you know, I keep teasing you dudes. You keep acting like it got a power of this. It doesn't have the power of this. It doesn't. It doesn't work that way, and that's not how it goes. All right? So stop bringing that up. Stop acting like that's what the Pro does. The Pro doesn't do that. But it's a bespoke piece of hardware that's going to internally have a native resolution that is extremely low with the output being high. And that's why you have hardware accelerated resolution solutions. PlayStation 5 Pro has a pisser in the box. And that pisser is what's going to help it get those good frame rates. So you all will hope that the pisser does its job.
What did he say? There was a time these fellas would have been shaking under their beds. Now look at them. Statistically speaking, these boys are just dumber than a bag of hammers.
I ain't scared of you, Judge. Judge this!
Then again, maybe hammers was too flat.
I see him! Oh, Lord, they killed Jed! Where are you, outlaw? Enemy sighted!
Judgment time! Ah, bastards bled on my duster. The job is simple. Resurrect the gang. Don't get got.
We sure we're ready for this?
And try not to wring each other's necks while we're at it.
What?
Oh, son of a... If we use our heads, then play our cards right,
Dealer's choice.
we just might make it out of this galaxy alive. You in?
A fan of spaghetti westerns. I'm a sick individual. I'm not even gonna hold you. You know, the good, the bad, and the ugly, and everything in between is stuff that I like. And to see Wild Bastards, I ain't gonna lie. I thought it was dope. I said, let me bring it to you guys and see what y'all like and see if y'all cared about it. But Wild Bastards seems like a whole bunch of fun. So check it out. It's out now on all platforms. Check it out. A little quick romp. Enjoy. Well, here we go. Now that we understand that the PlayStation 5 Pro, $700, $800 with everything else that you need, like a stand and a disk drive. I told you before, I called it a year ago that it would be $700. Then I also told you a couple of weeks ago that it would be $800. And both of those stand to be facts. If you want the base console with nothing else, no bells and whistles, nothing like that, $700. If you want a disk drive, you want a stand, then that's $800. Very simple, easy math. I'm 98% right all the time. And you get a lot of dudes that quote me out of context, right? You know, like when I told dudes that the PlayStation show was going to come next week. It's not next week, it's the week after. It's going to be on the 24th. I told y'all the PlayStation 5 Pro was going to launch in November, early November. Look, it's launching November 7th. I told you the price, back and forwards. But this show, the PlayStation show, the secret show, it's just a PlayStation Direct, right? And they're going to show third-party stuff, right? They're not going to show any first-party stuff, from my understanding. I just hope that some of that stuff has PlayStation 5 Pro stuff there. But I get nervous when you don't give your console over to Digital Foundry or to other like Austin Evans, Linus, anybody that can do a teardown and see what's going on with the box. That shows that you don't have confidence. That shows that you have something to hide. That shows that you should be wary. Now, I'm not telling and telling everybody go out and get it. I was more upset that they decided to put Astrobot Playroom inside there instead of Astrobot. Right? I always, and I'm going to stand on the square, I believe that Astrobot was supposed to be in a box, but they found out that they can capitalize off of selling this product to the masses and getting more money. And if dudes want the Pro, then they could, Playroom. I don't like that. I don't like that thought process. I think that thought process sucks. I feel that that's bad for business, to be honest with you, right? But at the end of the day, they're in it to make money. They're not in it to make friends. So you guys looking for Sony to subsidize anything they're not. They're going to run it up on you bums. Hashtag no PlayStation 6. And I know y'all saw the information of Intel coming out. 2029 is a far, 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 far away. And the harsh reality for a lot of you gamers is y'all assume that tomorrow is given. For a lot of you, a lot of us, that may never come up. We may never see that day. So for a lot of you, hashtag no PlayStation 6 is real as hell. Now, for those that actually make it to the launch of whatever the console would be, I don't think that the console would be that name. I don't know what the name will be for the console, but if it comes out at all, to be honest with you. But it won't be the PlayStation 6. That console will be called something else. And hashtag no PlayStation 6. But you made it this far in the video. And if you liked anything in the video, I drop videos daily. Also Friday, I do a live show, Community Day, where we play fighting games. We play community games. We play a whole bunch of stuff. And that goes live at 6 o'clock Eastern Standard Time on this channel. Now, if you want to see me streaming games, head over to my Twitch. Check that out over there. It's King David ILP, where daily I stream games. Because apparently I don't play games, so I don't know where these monkey mouth dudes get that information from, but you stupid idiots. If you was half the gamer I am, you would be in rehab. All right? I have foregone gaming rehab, and I'm just going to admit it. I'm a video game junkie, and my name is David, Lord King David of ILP. And I am what I am. And I'm going to tell you, my mama ain't raised no quitter. So with that being said, I'm going to take that logo and I'm going to throw it around the PlayStation 5 Pro. Because, bro, you need a hug. You have had the worst rollout I've ever seen in my life for new tech. Horrible price point. Stupid, idiotic introduction for only 9 minutes. Even Starfield had 10 minutes of DLC information that was more information than you gave for the PlayStation 5 Pro. And you want $700. Shattered Space only want $30, for upgrading the DLC. My man, you ain't giving no information, no nothing. But then it comes out that you got an internal resolution of 840p. Good Lord. But not to be undone, the PlayStation 6 said, hold my beer. Let me continue the pissing on this parade. Not to mention you got a pisser in the box. What type of acronym is that? So I got to throw this logo around the PlayStation 5 Pro. Because my bro need a hug. And I'm going to tell you, man, try to play the Game Pass.